Hi, Bill. How are you today?
I'm well, Noreen. How are you?
Great. Now, share with me, you've just completed level one of our macrobiotic leadership program. You've just completed the entire month-long program and completed your fourth week. What were the highlights of your last week in our leadership program?
I think for me, one of the highlights was what's becoming more and more clear, the whole holistic view of how everything is interconnected. And it's something that I understood on one level, but until I got here and in week four, all of a sudden it was like a light bulb going off for me, the importance of understanding the interconnection between organs and what we put in the food that we put into our system and how that all interplays with each other. It was really a light bulb moment for me.
That's great. So, truly seeing the holistic approach
Exactly.
to health and wellness.
Exactly. Yes.
That's wonderful. And I know last week you were doing some assessments and kind of final reviews, evaluations, that sort of thing. But share with me some of the classes that you did have last week that resonated with you.
Well, we had our personal development class that was wonderful, and we all did presentations. It was a diagnosis class that we did the presentation on. And it was an incredible experience from everybody just sharing parts of their lives and understanding themselves from a completely different perspective and finding their own healing and then sharing it with everybody. So that was huge. That was an amazing experience.
That's great. So it sounds like you were sharing with your classmates and colleagues on a very personal level.
Very, very personal level.
That's great.
In a very safe and wonderful environment.
Absolutely. And how about your time in the kitchen last week? Any particular experiences that you care to share?
It's always wonderful in the kitchen. I love the kitchen. Always great. It's always good. I whenever I'm in the kitchen, I'm really happy. I love working in the kitchen. We did this breakfast this morning, which was great. So
it was fun. Thank you for your help, Bill.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So the kitchen is always great. It's always a wonderful experience.
Great. And how about personally, in terms of your own personal health and your own personal evolution and development? How are you feeling?
I would definitely say that I'm feeling better. It is just so interesting to me that. Like an onion, the levels of discharge or detox just slowly keep coming, and they manifest in multiple ways. So it is a continual journey for me, but I do feel better and more relaxed.
Great. And how about any particular challenges that you've been having with following the macrobiotic approach to diet and lifestyle?
While I'm here, there's really hasn't been any challenges in that respect. It's just interesting, and I've had multiple conversations with both staff and volunteers and students about the biggest challenge, as we all sort of see, is once we leave here, how do we continue this? How do we maintain this? I know for myself that if I were to go home tomorrow, I would eventually, within about a week's time, revert back. And it really does, it needs to, for me, I need to be around a group. I need to have that community to support this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a very good point, Bill, that no matter what lifestyle we adopt, and certainly with the macrobiotic lifestyle, the more that we can connect with similarly minded individuals and create communities, the more supportive the environment is and the more sustainable the macrobiotic approach until it really, particularly in the new stages, there's no doubt.
Sure.
Okay. And I know you've told me in past weeks about surprises that you've encountered. Now, after being here for a month, there's always new things happening, but anything that's been a surprise for you or something you didn't expect, an aha moment, whether pleasant or unpleasant.
I had a discharge that was an aha moment, just the releasing of all kinds of toxins from my kidneys that really spoke to fears that I've been harboring.
Well, that's interesting. You're equating the kidney, the organ, with there's an emotional component to the organ. So, do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Well,
Not necessarily getting into your personal experience, but what you've learned about emotions and organs.
very broadly, and I'm still learning, obviously, but the connection, for instance, there's always the good and the bad with each organ, or the more positive and the less desirable emotion with each organ. Anger being that with liver, so and then the opposite of that as well with liver. So it's new. It's new for me, but it's incredibly fascinating, and sensing a little bit of that intuitive knowledge now from my own discharge.
That's great. And I think that's also an important point that you make, that the more that we follow the macrobiotic diet and lifestyle, the more, at least I found that the more my intuition really opens up. Yeah. And there's more available to me. There's more, the access is deeper. I don't know if you found that to be your experience so far.
I think I'm starting to. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Noreen.